To start today, um, talking about the vagus nerve, and I'm going to show you something here on the screen. You can see the vagus nerve is this huge nerve, cranial nerve. Actually, there's two of them run on either side of your, from the brain down into, as you can see, the digestive system, the heart, the intestines, and it's part of the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic is what causes our fight and flight response. The parasympathetic does the opposite, tells the body to rest and digest and relax. And it can control your heart rate, your digestion, and all is you can see all the things that affects. So when we stimulate this, it can, in a healthy way, it can promote healthy digestion, control our heart rate. In addition, studies have shown that can reduce inflammation. I'm not a doctor. You guys can look this all up, but I'm just sharing what I have been able to read. So when we, unfortunately, in our culture, we live in a situation where this nerve is overstimulated, causing a lot of stomach upset, causing a lot of heart disease, causing a lot of inflammation, which can lead to a lot of other issues, including cancer. So when we breathe, we're actually reaching that vagus nervous system and telling it it's okay, you can relax. It sends reward signals to the brain. Some studies have shown that it can help you to control your weight by breathing and relaxing. So it's just something that we want to, when you get the butterflies in the stomach, that's usually the vagus nervous system. It's over responding. It starts affecting your belly. Some people overeat when they're anxious. Some people don't eat when they're anxious. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. There's a reason why we do all the breathing that we do. It's not just, so it's something that should be considered as much as possible and done whenever you can. Okay, let's come to our mat. Did I start the recording? I am recording, yes. Okay, and we're going to start on our backs. Yes, we're going to start with a little bit of breathing. Now, if it's hard for you to lay on your backs, feel free to put a blanket underneath whatever part is uncomfortable. Some people have a problem with the small of their back, so feel free to put that blanket there or under the hips if your hips are sore. And let's bend the knees, bring the knees together and walk your feet out to the edge of the mat so that you can let the knees fall in together and just be in a relaxed position. Hands are at your side, either with your palms up or down. It doesn't matter, wherever you feel most comfortable. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Becoming aware of the breath and just slowing it down a little bit. If you want to set an intention for your class, do so now. We're going to do just some basic yogic breathing, which is done in 3 parts, starting inhaling low in the lowest part of the belly, down around the belly button or below, continuing on up and expanding out through the rib cage wall, out to the side perhaps, and then filling the top third of the lungs, which are in the upper area of the body, and then exhaling slowly opposite, starting with the top of the lungs, contracting the rib cage, and then pulling in at the belly and expelling that air. So let's begin. Inhaling through the belly, lower belly, then inhaling through the rib cage, continuing on up to the top of the ribs, and then exhaling. Keep making this a continuous movement from the top of the lungs, rib cage, and belly. Again, inhale, lower belly, ribs, top of the lungs, and exhaling, top of the lungs, ribs, belly. Continuing at your own pace. I can't breathe and talk at the same time, so just do a few of these on your own pace. Continuing in, all breathing through the nose and just noticing various parts of the torso working as you breathe in through these 3 parts of the lungs. One more round. And then return to normal breathing. Bring your hands down to the side. You can open your knees, keep the feet on the wide side of the sides of the mat. And let's just do some gentle windshield wipering of the knees back and forth from side to side. Slowly waking up the hips. Bringing them back to center, lifting the hips up and giving them a little shimmy. Loosening up the lower back and down. Lift again, shimmy, and down. Now bring your knees up over your torso, hands on your knees, and let's just start moving the knees around, individual circles, just one way, the other way, just moving the hips, waking them up. Maybe spreading the knees wide for a little stretch in the groin. Maybe bringing the knees together, interlocking the fingers and doing a little massage on the small of the back here, rolling around a little bit. And when you're ready, let's bring the feet back down. Extend your left leg. Bring your right knee up and interlock your fingers around in front on the shin near the right below the knee. Start to encourage that knee up towards your, this is the right knee towards the right shoulder, not directly over the body, but towards the shoulder. And find your stretch. Now kick your extended left leg out so that the heel is out. Should feel a nice stretch here. Be careful that you're not arching the rib cage forward. Just let the spine be in its normal position. And breathe. Now, if this is enough of a stretch for you, you can stay in this position and just work this position a little bit. If you'd like to go a little deeper, you can bring the other leg up, cross the ankle over the bent knee that you have close to the body. Bring your fingers behind the thigh, the right thigh. And just see how that feels. Watch your shoulder. Keep your neck, your chin relaxed. If you find your head coming up here, you can put a pillow or a brick under your head so that your head is supported. We don't want you yanking your head up off the floor here. It's a nice stretch for if you have sciatica or high hamstring pain, lower butt, whatever. And you can control how much you stretch by how much you're pulling that leg up towards the body. It's up to you what feels good. We don't want to overdo it. Just a nice stretch. Now, if you're comfortable there, you can now move the fingers in front of the shin. Again, this might not be right for your body, so just find where you're comfortable. Keep the chin relaxed. Feeling a good stretch. Now I'm feeling a good stretch in my hip, the upper hip, glutes, even the outside of that left upper leg. Finally, you again, staying here, this is enough of a stretch. You can extend now the right leg. Bring your left hand over and with the elbow on the floor, cup your left knee with your hand to support it. Reach forward with that other hand, grabbing the extended right leg and finding a stretch here. If it is available to you, you can go further, grabbing the inside of the foot with your hand, grabbing the inside, not the outside of the foot, and finding your stretch here with your foot flexed. Again, that's the full extension, but find wherever that is most comfortable for you and breathe. Relax the neck, relax the jaw, let go of your shoulders. This final position adds a strong hamstring stretch, which may or may not be right for your body. And released. Bring both feet slowly, loosening everything. Give everything a little shimmy, and we'll do the other side. Now extend the right leg, flex the foot. Now bring the left knee up so that the knee is coming towards your left knee is coming towards your left shoulder. Find your stretch, close your eyes, breathe. This is a wonderful stretch for the whole lower body. I do this every morning. I do it in bed. I have a very sympathetic spouse who's a heavier sleeper, but it's just a nice way to get a little bit of stretching done before you actually have to get out of bed. And sometimes I do it a couple of times a day. And again, either staying here, or if you'd like to now bring that right ankle, cross it over the left thigh, interlock your fingers behind the left thigh, find your stretch here. Relax the neck, use your brick under your head if needed to support the head, or a towel, whatever works for you, but just keep that head on something. Find your stretch. Now, again, if you're comfortable and want to go a little deeper, you can stay there or now bring the fingers in the front of the shin. It's a little stronger of a stretch. Keep checking your jaw and your neck. Make sure you're breathing. We breathe through these so that the muscles can relax. If you're holding your breath, if you're not breathing, you're holding tension and you can't get the full benefit of the pose. Now, if you'd like to go into that deeper pose, bring your right elbow onto the floor now, cup your right knee with your right hand for support. Extend the left leg up, reach up, grab the leg or the ankle, wherever you can. Find your stretch. Again, if it's available, if it's not, just stay in the previous position. If you can, flexing the foot, reaching up with the hand for that hamstring stretch. Noticing how one side might feel different from the back, from the other. Another breath. And then release. Slowly untangle the feet. Bring the legs down. Give yourself a little shimmy and extend the legs. Now we're going to do, for those of you who have been studying with me or have done yoga before, we're going to do a tree pose, but we're going to do it from a supine position. So we're going to bring the right leg up, bending the knee, so that the foot is beside the thigh, the left thigh. And then we're going to drop the knee to the side. Now here's where you're going to use your brick or your pillow, whichever you have, to support that knee that's dropping out to the side. Now, if your knee goes the whole way to the floor, good for you, that's wonderful. If it doesn't, make sure it's supported so it's not just hanging. And you may have to move the brick around a little bit to find that position so that the knee is supported. We want to move the skin around on the hip bones so that your hip bones are on both sides connected with the floor. And you can bring your hands to your pelvic bones, maybe even push a little bit. Since I have my right knee out, my left hip is wanting to come up a little bit off the floor. So you might want to put a little gentle pressure there, but you want them both pelvic bones facing up so that you're getting the full benefit of this opening of the pelvic area. Closing your eyes and just breathing here for a moment. Now, if you'd like, bring the hands now out to the side with your palms facing up. Slowly begin to work the arms up, keeping them in contact with the floor if you can. If they come up, that's fine too. But keep them as close to the floor as you can. I'm hitting my furniture here. And until they're up above your head, finding a stretch, maybe interlocking the fingers and stretching up with the body while simultaneously kicking out with that left heel. Stretching the body, nice stretch here. Feel free to take a couple little wiggles and jiggles, relax the neck. Finding space in the side of the torso, and you can release and then allow the hands to come down like you're making a snow angel back down to the side of the body. Taking your right hand, bring your right knee up. And now let's exchange legs. Put the other leg bent and with the foot beside the thigh. Dropping it to the side. Sorry, having a little technical difficulty. Keep my earpiece in. Bringing your brick under your knee if you'd like to support it, or your pillow, or maybe even just a blanket. Checking your hip bones, moving the skin away maybe from your hips so that the bones are in contact with the floor. Both pelvic bones are level and facing up, maybe pressing now on that right pelvis a little bit to get that opening in the hips. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Breathe. Imagine breathing into this area of the body, into the hips. With each breath, feeling a little bit of letting go. Maybe we hold so much tension in the hips, we don't even realize it. I'm feeling it now, feeling places I need to let go. And then when you're ready, bring the hands out to the side. Slowly begin to work them up over the head, keeping them as close to the floor as you can. Finding a stretch. Envisioning that stretch from the sides of the body, making space in the sides of the rib cage, kicking out now with that right heel. Stretching the spine. And then exhale, release, and bring the hands slowly back to the side of your body. Removing the brick and bringing you, using your left hand, bring the knee up, straightening the legs out. And then let's bend both knees up, bring the feet up close to the body again. Lift the feet off the floor, bring your hands behind your thighs. We're going to just start gently rocking along the lower part of the spine. My head is still on the floor. I'm just going to start rocking those knees in towards the chest. When you're ready, tuck your chin so that it's in as close as you can get it to the chest and begin to kick the legs up. We're rolling along the spine, gentle, slow, and controlled. We want to keep the chin as close to the chest so that we're rolling on the spine and not slapping our back. So play with this a little bit and find a nice roll. See how far up the spine you can get and down to the tailbone. Little massage on the spinal column. It also is a free chiropractic adjustment in some cases. When you're ready, let's roll up to sitting and cross our legs and come into a comfortable position, seated position. Hands on your knees, close your eyes and drop your head. Let's do a few gentle neck rolls. Inhale to your right, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From the top, exhale down to the other side. Relax your jaw, space between your teeth. Again, inhale to the right, 3, 4. Check your shoulders. And exhale to the other side. Relax your face. One more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Other way. Inhale. If you've had any kind of a neck injury, don't let the head fall too far back. Exhale, 2, but keep it mostly forward of the shoulders. And again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Check your jaw. Exhale. One more time. Just noticing any sore spots on the neck, any little ouchies, and maybe giving them a little bit more time if needed. Coming back to center. You can open your eyes, look forward, and let's just do some gentle shoulder rolls. Again, relax that chin. Keeping the chin level with the floor, and then go the other way. And then let's interlock the fingers. Tissue back in here and do some wrist rolls. Get the elbows and even the shoulders into it. Make some nice swoops. Go the other way. Just get the whole thing into it, nice and loose. Shake it out. Inhale, bring the arms up into a V shape. Drop your left hand beside your left hip. Inhale, reach up with the opposite arm and the right, which is your right, I'm mirroring you, and your right hip pressed down at the same time. Find that space in the side of the body. Continue to reach over, keeping that length. Find your stretch in the side of the body. I'm reaching up with my arm and pressing down with the same side hip to get that stretch. Keep your neck relaxed, your jaw soft, and release. Shake it out. Both arms up. Drop now your left side against your left hip, reaching up with the right, if I'm mirroring you. Now press down with your left hip and reach up with your left arm. Find that that extra space between the rib cage. Keep that space as you now find a gentle stretch to your right. Breathe. And release, shake it out. Now, I know a couple of you are having some trouble with your feet, so we're going to do a little bit of footwork today. So finding a comfortable seat, you can even sit in a chair if you'd like, but if you can bring your foot up in front of you, maybe sit on a brick if that, or a pillow if that makes you more comfortable. But bring your heel up. Oh, I have to take my yoga socks off. It's chilly here this morning. I think it was 17. So the yoga socks came out. Okay, on our heel, we're just going to take our fingers, we're going to push the toes forward and pull them back gently. We're just going to manipulate the toes here, forward and back. And maybe when you have them pulled forward, take your other hand with your knuckles, maybe, and give yourself a little massage, especially against the spine of the foot. Maybe taking your fingers and pressing in that soft spot in the middle of the ball of the foot there. And breathe. Ooh, that always feels so good. And then in front of the heel, the soft spot in the middle. And release. Now taking your opposite fingers, if you can, and working them between your toes from the underside. Stretching the toes out. Now, if you have hammer toes or have had broken toe, there may be an issue that you can't do that. That's fine. You can just continue to push them back and forward. But I'm stretching the toes out if you can. Maybe doing some rolls on the heel with the fingers there. Now remove the fingers, but keep the toes spread as far as you can. I find this very hard to do, to keep my toes. Some of my toes just don't want to cooperate. And then we're going to do some ankle rolls with the toes spread. So do this slowly so you can really focus on keeping those toes spread. It's not as easy as you would think. Go one way and go another way. These are some things for plantar fasciitis, or if you've had ankle issues. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, and then the other one. Okay, this is another good one. So curl the 4 little toes, maybe from the side, this is better, and bring the big toe forward and stretch. Now reverse, big toe forward, little toes up. Back and forth, just play with that a little bit. We don't use our toes as much as we used to back in the olden times when people didn't wear shoes. So as a result, our toes don't get the exercise that they should, and our feet suffer as a result, as well as a host of other things. Okay, shake that out. We'll do the other side. Now bring the other foot forward. Just going to start bending the toes back and forward, back. Just okay. And then holding the toes back, a little massage along the spine and the whole back of the foot. Maybe pressing in or wherever, just wherever feels good to you. Feels like you could use a little massage on your foot. And then taking the fingers between from the underside of the toes, working them in there, just doing a little bit of Maybe back and forth there. Don't forget that pinky foot or pinky toe. Keep removing the fingers now and spreading the toes as wide as you can. Let's do some ankle rotations. One way, and then the other way. And then pressing the 4 little toes down, big toe forward, and the opposite side. I was doing these the other day and kept getting toe cramps. So be careful. I don't know what that meant, except that probably I needed this. And release. Now bring both feet out in front of you, hands at your side of your hips for support. And let's just bring with our legs together, point as strong as you can, point, 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 toes together. Now flex the heels out, bring the feet back or the toes back. So just some points, some flexing, point, and flexing. I can go to the side of that. And then grabbing your bricks. Let's come up onto our knees. And I'm on my toes, so my toes are bent underneath me. And I'm just going to roll back onto my toes and just sort of roll back and forth using my bricks for support. But we're just doing a little bit of manipulation of the toes here, a little stretching. If you'd like to go deeper, you can put your bricks up on their highest side, and you can come up onto your toes and then roll over the toes. This is strong. And back. Rolling over. I'm going directly over the big toes and back. Now that's strong. Another way you can do the same thing without as much body pressure on it is standing, where you're pressing the toes down and then pressing from the other side, pressing the toe down on this side. This is a good thing to do when you're brushing your teeth or stirring a pot or waiting for a bus. Anyway, getting those stretches for the toe. Coming back onto our mat, let's come onto our knees. This, if you have knee issues, this might be a little strong for you, so you can just take whatever seated pose works for you. Then my knees are together. I'll show you from this side, and I'm going to splay my feet out. Now, your knees may not come exactly together, come as close as you can, but my feet aren't pigeon-toed and around my bottom like that. They're straight out in an angle. I'm going to bring a brick. Now I'm going to switch this side and put a brick beside me. You might need 2 bricks. And I'm going to sit down. This is strong in the knees. So again, be careful with this. If it doesn't work for you, you can just come into regular sitting pose, but play with that a little bit. This does give us a nice stretch in the top of the thighs, the adductors, but more importantly, from my perspective for today, we can press down on those heels gently and get a little bit of stretch on the top of the feet. You can also do this, you can also do this from any other position where you get the leg underneath you, but it is just a way to accomplish a couple of things at the same time. We can also give ourselves a little foot massage here, get the thumbs into the feet, manipulate the toes, and pulling and shaking each toe. So just a few ideas for those of you who are suffering with foot and ankle issues, and I hope some of those might help you. So let's come up off your brick now. Going to come into with both legs in front of you, coming into Gomukhasana, head of cow. You're going to need your belt, so grab your belt. Feet are extended. I'm moving the skin away from my sits bones so that I have a nice connection with the floor. Bringing one foot, let's bring your right foot, I'm mirroring you here, up and crossing over the other leg and crossing it so that the foot is at the side of the body and your knees as much as possible are stacked on top of each other. You can stay in this position if you'd like, or as close to it as you like. You may find at your knees up here. You can also support it with a block or a pillow if you'd like, but coming as close as possible. Now, for some of you who have the flexibility and maybe have had the good fortune not to have had a knee injury, you can try bringing the other foot around so that my knees are still pretty stacked. They're not exactly, but close. And I have the opposite foot on each side of the body. This is also called shoelace pose. I keep moving my hips around because I want to get the skin away from my hip bones so that I have a nice connection with the floor. This right here is a very strong hip opener, so be careful with it. One leg out is totally fine, and your body is where it is. Feeling the opening. Now taking your belt, and now because my left leg is on top, or excuse me, your right leg is on top, take your belt with your left arm, the opposite arm, bring it up over the head, getting that elbow up as much as you can. Reach out with the other arm, swing it around, rotate in the shoulder, and grab the belt from behind. This is called Gomukhasana. It's head of cow. And we're just going to encourage that back. I'll do it here from the back so you can see. We're encouraging an opening of the shoulders as well. So Gomukhasana hits our hips and our shoulders for opening here. And we're constantly maybe working the hands in closer together. Wherever you find a nice stretch and opening, it should not be painful. It should just be, if it's painful, back out of it a little bit. And breathe. Relax that jaw. Keep the jaw level with the floor. And release. Shake out your shoulders, slowly undo your feet. And now we're going to do the other leg. So now extend both legs. Now bring the other leg so that it's over the other one. Knees as close together as possible. Staying in this position right here, which is totally fine. Or if it's available to you, wrapping that other leg around the body as well. I have my left, I'm mirroring you, left knee is on top, so then the right arm is going to grab the belt, drop it behind my head, getting that elbow up, reaching out and around, rotating from the shoulder with the other arm, grabbing the belt, and then just working that position, opening up the chest, relax the jaw and keep it parallel with the floor. And breathe. And release slowly. You can set your belt to the side, release. My grandson, he says, he loves trains, and he says, all ahead, slow. I think it's from the Polar Express, but so slowly. Now let's take the feet out in front of us, nice and wide, bent knees, lean back on your hands, and let's do some windshield wipers, sort of exaggerated, getting the hip rolling into it here. And breathing, just nice and gentle. After you've done a few of those, let's come over, bring the other arm over and touch both arms to the floor behind you. Now rolling over to the other side, both arms behind you, feeling a nice twist in the lower back, in the waist. Breathing side to side. Now, when you go to the one side, take the upper arm and do a lasso movement. Extended arm, come to the other side. I'm going to my left, so my right arm is lassoing around. Nice big rotations from the shoulder. Another time. Other side. This time when we come around, let's lasso and press against the down arm and lift the hips. Little hip strength here. Come to the other side, press up, lift the hips, lasso, hip strength, shoulder relaxation or shoulder stretching at the same time. One more time. And down. Now keeping the one foot in front of you. I'm sort of doing a side saddle, but also sort of a 90 position. So both legs are on one side. My front knee, show from this side, my front knee is bent. And I'm going to inhale, reach forward with my arms, bring the arms down, coming into a modified pigeon pose, where we're just going to stretch out, stretch the groin, stretch the hips, bring the arms to the floor, finding your stretch. Maybe having to wiggle your legs around a little bit for this to work for you. Relax the jaw. Breathe. Another breath. And then let's press ourselves up to seating. Now let's switch to the other leg. So again, one is sort of crossed in front. I'm sort of in this side saddle, 90s angled kind of position. Again, adjust it for what works for you. You may need to pull that front leg in. You may need to push the back one out a little bit. Walk the hands out, finding your stretch. If you can bring the elbows to the floor, finding that stretch. If you can't, then just find wherever your stretch is and breathe into it. Relax the shoulders. And walk the hands back up. Bring your legs slowly forward and give them a little shimmy, little shake. Going to come into Dandasana, which is our seated rod pose. My feet are together. My feet are flexed. I'm again moving that hip skin away from my hip bone, so I have a nice firm foundation of my hip bones with the floor. I'm pressing down into the legs against the floor, nice and strong. This is an active pose. It doesn't look like we're doing much, but it's quite active. We're going to engage the three bandhas, which in yoga are major root locks that we use. The first one is the Mula Bandha, which is in the perineal area. We squeeze up and it's supporting the internal organs, pulling and supporting the hips as well. Then we engage the Uddiyana Bandha, which is at the navel area. We pull up and back towards, or in and back towards the spine. Then the chin lock, which would gently pull in just a little bit and engage as well. This creates the normal curvature of the spine. Our hands are at our side. Our chest is open, opening the heart space. And breathe. Now taking the hands up to the sky and pressing down with the hips as we reach up, creating space again in the sides of the rib cage here as we're reaching up and pressing down. We're going to hinge forward from the hips, keeping that length in the spine until we can't go any farther down without bending our back, because we don't want to hunch the back. And then we bring the hands to the floor and we find our stretch. Paschimottanasana. So this is not about rounding the back. It's about hinging from the hips forward as though you're trying to pancake your torso onto your legs. And breathe. Maybe inching the fingers forward a little bit as you feel the release. Maybe not. And slowly release. Now grabbing your belt or your towel, whatever you have, softening your knees so you can bend forward and bring the loop of the belt, make a loop of the belt, just put it around your feet. We're not making a loop. And holding the belt with both hands. Again, coming into our Dandasana, engaging the Mula Uddiyana Jalandhara Bandha, nice and tall with the spine, and begin to walk forward with the hands onto the belt, using the belt to maybe get you a little deeper into this fold. Again, check your spine. We don't want the spine curving out. It's a nice stretch, the top of the bottom of the hips, top of the legs, lower back. And then release. You can place the belt to the side. Now taking your legs as wide as you can. Coming into Upavishta Konasana. As wide as you can, flex the feet, finding that connection of the hip bones with the floor. Inhale, the arms come up, finding that space, reaching, and then beginning to come forward with the hands to the floor. Maintaining that length in the spine, walking the hands forward. Probably feeling a strong stretch on the inside of the legs. If you keep the heels especially kicked out, flexed out rather. Keeping the spine long. Breathing. And then let's walk the hands back up. Now inhale, bring the arms up. And let's drop both arms to your right side. The lower arm comes onto the leg. The other arm arches over and out past the toe, towards that way anyway. Finding this nice stretch in the side of the body. Breathe, check your jaw. And then come back up to sitting. Shrug it out, both arms up again, other side. Again, pressing down with the opposite hip, reaching with the outstretched arm, finding the stretch in the side of the body. And release. Bring your legs in. Let's come into child position. So spreading the knees nice and wide. Slowly pressing into child using whatever props you need, especially under the head if you need to put a blanket or brick there. Arms at the side of the body. Relax the shoulders. Breathe out through the back of the ribs. Another breath or two here. And then let's walk the hands forward. Coming into our bird dog position. So our fingers are spread, and hands are under our shoulders, knees are stacked under our hips. We're going to raise the right arm and the left heel, kick it out, reach, hold, and down. Again, other side, trying to keep the torso as level as possible and keeping that hip from rolling over. Other side, slowly. And down, as though you have a glass of water in your back and you don't want to spill it. And down a couple more. Reach, strengthening. We're working, this is a strengthening exercise for the back of the body. Also good for balance. That's why we do it slow, because it's harder that way. It works the muscles more that way, not using momentum. And down. Now bring your leg out to the side, your right leg out to the side. Find your balance between the 3 points that are on the floor, your hands and your knee. We're going to lift the extended foot off the ground. Doesn't matter how high, just lift, hold for a second, and down. Working those muscles, engage your core, and we're also working the muscles on the outside of the thigh. Lift, hold, and down. Let's try to do 2 more. I know these are hard. Inhale, lift, hold, and down. These muscles are so important for balance. Lift, hold, and down. Good. Bring the leg out now behind you. Extend it. You can point your toe, and we're going to just do some circles. Maybe try to do 5 one way, little circles. Keeping the leg, go the other way, keeping the leg in line with the hip. Not letting that right hip roll over, but keeping the level in the back. Bring it down. Now extend the foot out at a 90-degree angle. Point your with your toes pointed to an angle. Walk the hands over to the foot. Come into a lunge. And breathe. And release. Now we'll do the other leg. I'll do it from this side. So first we're going to extend the leg on our hands and right knee. We're going to inhale, lift that foot, hold, and down. Lift the foot, hold, and down. Again, try to keep that hip from rolling down, using the muscles on the outside of the hip. One more time. And down. Extend the leg out to the back. Circles. Keeping the leg in line with the hips. And then bringing that foot out to the side and at an angle and walking the hands out towards that foot and finding our stretch. The knee can come forward of the foot here because it's a lunge. And release. Coming back onto our seated position. Bringing the feet together and as close to the body as you can. I guess I'll do it this way. Now, you may not be able to get them in this far. Wherever you can, get the feet so that the knees are out. And we're just going to hold the toes and do some butterfly flutters, some gentle flutters of the knees. Again, you may find that for you, maybe you can't even touch them. It's just if you've had a knee injury or something, you can just have the hands on the floor, but just letting the knees softly flutter. Now lifting your knees up and bringing them together. Just a little bit of ab and core work. Coming into our cosmic egg, Brahmanasana. Our toes are together, knees are together, and we're going to just hug our elbows, and we're going to pull the torso in towards the knees and the knees in towards the torso. I'm not letting my back collapse out, sitting up nice and tall, using the leverage with my arms. beginning as you can to walk, come up off your heels, back a little more onto your hips and onto your toes. Nice and tall spine. Maybe if you have your balance, bringing the toes off the floor, coming into our cosmic egg. A little bit of a balance exercise here. If it doesn't work for you, you can put the toes down. Maybe try lifting one up at a time, one toe, and release. Now bringing your hands to your heart. Again, engaging the core so that we're not letting the back collapse. We're going to lean back on the hips, bring the feet off the floor. Now, this is just coming into our boat pose. Again, not this, keeping the back long and tall and using the core. Now, you may have to just, 1 foot down, up, whatever, to practice to get into it. But we're engaging the core. If you'd like, you can bring the knees up. Yes, my legs are shaking because this is hard. You can extend the legs if you'd like. But again, keep the core engaged. And down. One last one. Little rest here. Leaning back, pressing out the left leg, turning to the right. Coming back to center. Engage that core. Press out the right leg, turn to the left. Core, check your back, nice and tall, side to side. Other side and down. We'll do that one more time. Hands to heart, feet up, turn to the right, center. Exhale, turn to the left. Inhale, center, one more set. Exhale, turn to the right, center. Exhale to the left, center. Let's come on to our backs. If you have a brick, bring it between your knees. Feet are on the floor. Squeeze the brick with your knees and slightly pigeon toe your toes in toward each other, but squeeze the brick as much as you can. Hands are at your side and by your hips. Inhale, lift those hips and squeeze, 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 squeeze the glutes, strengthening those lower back muscles and the inner thigh muscles with the brick, and down. Again, lift, squeeze, squeeze the brick, squeeze your glutes. Hold, keep your head looking forward when you're doing this, and down. Again, one more time, lift and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And down. You can remove the brick. With your hands at the side, you can do some gentle windshield wipers here. A shimmy, or if you'd like to bring the knees into the chest just for a final stretch, feel free to do that now. And then let's prepare for our corpse pose, Shavasana, our active relaxation. Extend the feet. If you have back problems, you can also come into this pose as we started the class with, where your feet are wide on the mat and your knees are leaning in against each other. That's also a fair pose, and it sometimes can be easier. You can even do it on your side if you have back issues. So find what's comfy. Close your eyes. Just relax breathing now. Just allowing all of the work that we've done, all the relaxation and the stretching and the strengthening that we've done to be incorporated into the body, just like a snow globe, letting all the flutters, the little pieces of whatever they are, snow, settle into the body, seeing them as light, energy and life, nourishing, surrounding each organ, invigorating it, maybe healing it. Gently coming back to the awareness of your breath. Gently moving your fingers and your toes, maybe a sigh. When you're ready, bringing your knees up and rolling over to your side, pressing yourself up into a seated position, keeping your eyes closed for another moment, hands together in Namaste prayer, enveloping your intention if you set one at class and blessing it. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Have a wonderful week and namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Robin.
Have a good week.
Thank you, Robin.
And send me any comments, questions. Love to hear from you.
Thank you again.
Take care.
You too.